Okay, welcome to Year 11 Biology. Here is a mind map about organelles. So if you want to take a picture, do it now. Otherwise, we're going to zoom in. So we'll start up here on the left-hand side, and we'll start off with ribosomes. Ribosomes are found in all life forms because they do not have a membrane, so they are non-membrane bound. They are the site of protein synthesis. They're found in prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes and in the domain Archaea. This is what it looks like with the electron microscope. It just looks like lots of little tiny dots. The lysosome is only found in animal cells. It's a bag of digestive enzymes that breaks down food, pathogens, and broken organelles. So here is an electron micrograph looking at a lysosome breaking down a broken mitochondrion. And then we get to the mitochondrion. The mitochondrion is found in all eukaryotic cells. It has a folded internal membrane. The folded internal membrane is called the cristae, and it's dotted with ATPase, which is the enzyme that is responsible for making ATP. Therefore, we say it's the site of cellular respiration or even the site of ATP synthesis. So it produces and then releases ATP. It doesn't store the ATP, it pumps it around the cell to be used for active processes. The mitochondrion also contains a circular piece of DNA that is a remnant from the endosymbiotic relationship where an aerobic bacterium went inside a eukaryote. All right, then we've got centrioles. Centrioles are only found in animal cells. They come as a pair and they separate to make spindle fibers. Remember that plant cells have something similar called centrosomes that do pretty much the same thing. And here is the electron micrograph of centrioles. Right, next we've got a chloroplast. Now the chloroplast is only found in plant cells and in algae. It's the site of photosynthesis. It contains a folded internal membrane called thylakoids, and a stack of thylakoids is called a granum, and plural is grana. The thylakoids are embedded with chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is the enzyme and the pigment required for photosynthesis. It also contains circular DNA because, once again, it does contain circular DNA in the form of a plasmid because it was the result of an endosymbiotic event. Then we've got flagellum, which is singular, and flagella is plural. It's a whip-like structure used for movement and is found in some animal cells and some bacterial cells, but not plant cells, because plant cells don't move. All right, then the last one on the left-hand side here is we've got a starch granule, also known as an amyloplast. It's similar to a vacuole, but it stores starch. It interconverts the starch and the glucose depending upon what the cell needs. All right, so it absorbs and releases glucose, but it stores it as starch, which is the polymer of glucose, and it's only found in plant cells. Alrighty, if we go back up to the top, over here we go to the cell membrane, which is a phospholipid bilayer. Now a phospholipid has a polar head, which is hydrophilic, which means water-liking, and it has non-polar tails, which are hydrophobic, which means water-hating. And there are two layers of phospholipid, that's why it's called a bilayer. The cell membrane adheres to the fluid mosaic model in that the fluid component is that the two layers are always moving against each other. In fact, all of the phospholipids are moving independently of each other. And it's a mosaic because not only does it have phospholipids in it, but it also has proteins and glycoproteins, and in fact, some lipoproteins embedded in that cell membrane. It's semi-permeable because it regulates what enters and leaves the cell. It lets water in, but tries to limit the passage of ions like sodium and potassium and chloride. The cell membrane holds the cytosol, which is just the water inside the cell. In fact, the word cytoplasm means cytosol plus the organelles. And cell membranes are found in eukaryotes and prokaryotes for that matter. Then we get to the nucleus. The nucleus controls the cell using DNA, and it controls the cell by regulating the proteins made. And the instructions for those proteins are contained within the chromosomes. Around the outside of the nucleus is the nuclear membrane. It has pores in it called nuclear pores. It has nuclear pores in it to let messenger RNA out, but we'll study that next year. It also contains a dark patch called the nucleolus, which contains ribosomal RNA that makes ribosomes. and the nucleus is only found in eukaryotes. Next, we get to a cell wall. Now, the cell wall is permeable. It's only used for structural support. In plant cells, the cell wall is made of cellulose. In fungi, the cell wall is made of chitin. In bacteria, the cell wall is made of peptidoglycan. And in the domain Archaea, the cell wall is made up of a collection of unusual lipids. Then we get to the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticula, which is plural, can be one of two sorts. It can be rough, which means it's dotted with ribosomes and makes and transports proteins, or it can be smooth, where it makes and transports both lipids and carbohydrates. And endoplasmic reticula are only found in eukaryotes. Then we get to the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus is also attached to the end of the endoplasmic reticula because it stores, modifies, and packages organic molecules into vesicles for transport around the cell and out of the cell, and it's only found in eukaryotic cells. The last of all is the vacuole. The vacuoles are found in plants, fungi, and animal cells. In plant cells, it stores water and pigments, and it's large and permanent and centrally located. In the fungi, it stores water, and again, it's large and permanent, but in the animal cells, it stores food and is small and transient means it moves around the cell. Okay, so we'll zoom out for the mind map again. Last chance to take a photo, and thank you for listening. Bye now.